So I recently found meaning in my life, and I've found my life's purpose, and I actually now know why I was born. It feels like I've discovered God again, or I've met my wife. Like, I have basically found my purpose and the whole reason that I'm alive. And doing that is a pretty cool thing to do. And so what I'm going to do is make a video explaining how I did it, how long it's taken, and how I've carved out what I believe to be, for me, the actual meaning of life. So I'm a 26-year-old entrepreneur. And as you can see here, this is my life stripe for my company. I'm making 30, 40 grand a day, sometimes $50,000 a day. And I'm now in a very blessed, fortunate position where I no longer need money. I have enough money to sustain me for the rest of my life, whether I work another day in my life or not. I have true financial freedom. And I've really had that now for well over a year. And for the last year, I've been struggling with I wouldn't call it an existential crisis or a depression, because that's not how I roll. But I've been struggling with a real crisis of identity, or, whatever you want to call it. Don't worry, I'm not transitioning to a woman. The point I'm trying to make here is all I've done for the last year is wake up and make money. And when you no longer need to make money, and when you no longer need money, it's extremely difficult to justify that. And it's extremely difficult to fall in love with the process and fall in love with the work when you're just working for money when you already have enough. It's akin to being on a desert island and you're in a survival situation. And perhaps on that desert island, you have found a source of water. And you now know that for the rest of your life on that desert island, you're never going to go thirsty again. Well, waking up every morning on that desert island and going to search for water when you already have enough to last you for a lifetime feels a little bit meaningless and pointless. And that's really where I've been in the last year. I've been in a very short term thinking, like, just make money. And I don't want to get all hippie on you, because making money is damn good and it feels damn good. But when you're 26 years old and you're making 50 grand a day, 40 grand a day, and you don't need more money, it's like, what's the point? It's really empty. So what I've done is I've really spent a whole year, and I kid you not, pretty much a year to date from April or May last year, deciding what I want to do with my life. And I finally figured it out. And I mean it when I say, like, it's like I've met Jesus or Muhammad or God or some sort of religious figure. It's like I've met the person I want to spend the rest of my life with, or something. Like, it is the most elating, joyful, meaningful, fulfilling feeling I could possibly ever describe. And in this video, I'm going to explain what it is, how I found it, and how to find true purpose in your life. Now, the thing is about entrepreneurs is our needs exist in a pyramid. And, down here, at this point in the pyramid, if we look down here, this point is this is probably where most of you are right now. This is where you have needs. You have basic biological imperatives at this level of the pyramid. And this is basically, you just need money. But really, it's not money that you need. At this point, you need safety, you need shelter, you need food, you need water. Basic biological imperatives. Above that, you start to find that, you want, like, to belong to a community, and you want fulfillment, and you want to start to, buy things and have status, really. This is status. So this is biology. And biology is basically, do you have somewhere to go to the toilet and sleep safely? And status is like, okay, once I've established that my toilet is there, now how do I improve that toilet more than other people's toilets? That's kind of how humans work, although perhaps not with toilets, but with other stuff as well. Then we get status. So status comes in when you start making money and you've superseded your biological needs, and you can now focus on something different. So if you're on a desert island and you've secured shelter, you've secured water, and you've secured, food, if there were other people on that island, what you'd start to do is you'd start to try and find things that give you status over those people, especially if you're a man. That's kind of how we roll. And, once you've found status and once you've achieved this, really what happens is, like, once you've got enough of it, it can trap you. It can become very addictive, and you can find yourself in this never-ending feedback loop to fulfill this drive and this biological, visceral drive for status. And you see this in people, especially in Dubai, where people just end up buying watches or cars, and their entire life becomes about their status. And this is fine if that's what makes you happy and gives you meaning in life, but I know a lot of people that do this, and I can tell you that they're not particularly fulfilled. They don't have much meaning. The next thing that happens is freedom. So once you've achieved status, really what you're looking to try and achieve is freedom. And this is where, you are essentially free from constraint, where you can do what you want, when you want, however you want. And these two things are interchangeable. So sometimes people will want status before they want freedom, and sometimes people will want freedom before they want status. But what happens after a while is basically once you have the status, or you have the means of acquiring the status, which is basically just having a ton of money, and once you have the freedom, which basically means you can just do whatever you want, whenever you want, with whoever you want, for however much money you want, forever. It's like, well, what's the point in living? Because you've got the two things that you really wanted. You're biologically secure, your body's in place, your psychology's in place, and you're free. So now what? Okay, I know I'm going to go and sit on a beach in Bali and go to Thailand and stuff. Well, really? Is that really meaningful? What do you want the freedom for? A lot of people say this where they're like, I want time freedom. And then I'm like, okay, well, what do you want to do with that time? And they're like, oh, I don't know, just travel, I suppose. It's like, well, why do you want to travel? I don't really know. I just want to see the world. Why? And you end up in this loop. So you can either get stuck in a freedom loop, which is where you just become a slave to your desire to, explore, which is fine, by the way, or you end up in a status loop. But if you're disciplined and you don't fall into this trap and you don't fall into this trap and you've got this ticked, then you can start to achieve something called transcendence. And this is what I've been trying to do recently. So transcendence happens when your purpose in life and your goal in life completely supersedes your biological or psychological needs, and it becomes about something way deeper and way heavier. And this is what I've been able to do after meditating on this problem for really an entire year and talking to tons of people. I no longer give two monkeys about traveling or status. I don't care. I don't for those of you that know me personally, and a lot of you won't, I don't have expensive watches. I don't buy supercars. I'm not a slave to my desire to be perceived as better than other men. And I'm also not a slave to my desire to, go and do whatever I want and just let my inner child just run loose around the world. So when you get these two things in check, you can achieve transcendence. And transcendence is when you can create a purpose or a vision in your life that it exceeds you. It's no longer about you, and all of your work and all of your desires, they completely transcend yourself and your own biological or psychological needs. And this is what I've been able to do. Now, like I said, this has taken me a full year of thinking, of asking myself near enough every day, and all the people that I know and love, what the hell do I do with my life? I've got all this money, I've got all this freedom, I've got all this status, for lack of better words. Now I've got what most men take a lifetime to achieve. What's the point? And I sat on that and I carry on making money and making videos and stuff, and now I get it. And so what I'm going to do is I'll walk you through the vision and explain what I want to do in my life. So I've basically created a future state. I've observed that near enough any great person ever had a vision. Anyone who's ever done anything great, they had a vision. What is a vision? It's a state of future that basically has applied radical change. And for example, someone who was a visionary was Henry Ford. And Henry Ford envisioned actual cars. And before Henry Ford, there were no cars, there were no motor cars, and he brought them along. Another example, it could be Elon Musk. His vision is to colonize Mars, or for every human to drive an electric car. Microsoft's vision was, to put a computer on every desk in every home, for example. And what you've got to realize about these visions and these entrepreneurs and these visionaries, everyone thought they were insane. Henry Ford was like, we're not going to use horses for travel. We're going to use boxes of metal and glass on these things called wheels. People were like, what? How the hell are you going to do that? It's insane. Same thing when Elon Musk says he wants to colonize Mars. Everyone's like, you're insane. That's never going to happen. But the common denominator of greatness, and I've studied a lot of great people throughout history, read a lot of biographies and stuff, and they all have a vision. So I've really sat down and asked myself, in order to create a vision and in order to create a desired future state that really improves the life of humanity, what you have to do is you basically have to draw two circles like this. And you have to ask yourself, what am I good at? And then you have to ask yourself, what do I love? And this is literally how I created my thing. So you ask yourself, what are you good at? And this basically means, what are you competent in? And then you ask yourself, what do you love? And for me, it was, it took me a year to realize this, but I kind of got it. So what I love is I love entrepreneurs. I love entrepreneurs, the bits and pieces. I love learning and I love teaching. Okay. And what am I good at? Well, basically learning and teaching, right? Because I have an info business that I've been running for 3 years and I absolutely love it. I love learning information, synthesizing that using my brain, and then teaching that to people and basically passing information that solves problems. So I love entrepreneurs, really. I love them. Like, entrepreneurs are my favorite people on the planet. I think that we are the epitome of goodness, and I think that all humanity is moved forward by entrepreneurs. And I also, what am I good at? Well, I'm quite good at learning stuff and teaching stuff. I'm nowhere near good enough. I don't know anything really in the scheme of it all. I'm not that smart at all, but I know enough to know that I like it. And so really, when I was creating my vision, I was like, okay, I know I love entrepreneurs. I know I'm good at learning and teaching. So I need to find a way to do both of these things. And your vision is basically what you love. It's impossible for you to work on something for 50, 60 years and to try and actualize a true future state that you want if you don't love it. It's impossible. Anyone throughout history, you study them, no one's done it without love. And if you want to know how to, I've basically unlocked the unlimited discipline glitch, the unlimited energy glitch. Now I've got this vision, mate, I can't even begin to describe the visceral shift in my psychological attitude towards work. I've unlocked the infinite discipline glitch. I don't even need to try anymore. I don't even need to, I just all I want to do is just do this because I love it. It's the same thing with raising a child. If you love your child, you'll do anything for them, and you won't, and it might be tough and you might suffer, but I've always meditated on Nietzsche's quote, which was, he who has a why can bear almost any how. And I finally get it. So the vision, I want you to imagine a world, and this is, I'm going to state this now, and this might seem insane. It might seem that's not possible, but that's the bloody point. Imagine a world where every entrepreneur who wants to succeed actually does. Just imagine that for a second. Everyone who really wants it does. Every entrepreneur who wants to succeed actually does. That's the vision. By the time that I've died, hopefully, God willing, every entrepreneur who wants to succeed does, through my work and through my companies and through my stuff. I don't know how I'm going to do this yet, but I know the vision. And what this does is it centralizes your attention and it forces you to make decisions and sacrifices, and it forces you to learn and build relationships, and everything in your life now becomes about the vision. And my life now has true meaning and true purpose because I'm going to stop at nothing to make this happen. And everything that I do, everywhere I go, everyone I meet, all the relationships I build, it's all going to be based on this one vision. Does it help me achieve the vision? And this is, the purpose and the meaning you can derive from a statement of love like this is, I might seem crazy right now, but let me explain. So what I've done is I've defined these words because every entrepreneur who wants to succeed does. That's quite a vague thing. So how do we make the vision clear? Well, by every, it's collective, it's inclusive, and it's also conclusive. Every single person who wants to succeed does. Now, the question then becomes, well, what's an entrepreneur? Because this is a subjective definition. Well, I define an entrepreneur as someone that takes risk, solves a problem, and has personal incentive. So if you take a risk to solve a problem, to basically meet an incentive, you're an entrepreneur. And wants, this is the thing, because I was telling my family about this, and they were like, well, everyone wants to be successful. And I was like, I know, but how I'm defining wants is different. So wants indicates character, and really what wants means to me is never giving up and never quitting and actually seeking help. So a lot of people say they want to succeed, but then they give up. You don't really want to succeed, you just think it sounds cool. So when you really want something, you really try, and you don't give up, you don't quit, and you seek help, and you have humility. So that's how I'm defining wants. And if you're going to create a vision, you have to define the words that you're working with. I've slaved over this statement for days. Really, for the last year, I've been thinking about this, but everything that I've been learning has just suddenly been centralized, bang, into this one sentence. All of the things that all these people, I've talked to Sam Evans about this, I've talked to Simon Squibb about this, I've talked to billionaires, I've talked to friends, I've talked to family, I've talked to everyone I could think about. What do I want to do? Why am I here? And all those conversations and all that knowledge and all that stuff is just suddenly, I woke up and I'm like, I know what I want to do. And my unconscious was just like, here you go, mate. This is what you want to do. So it's amazing what happens when you put your mind to something for a year, because the problem I've really had is I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And now I do. And what does succeed look like? Like, okay, this is a subjective term again. Every entrepreneur who wants to succeed does. Well, succeed basically means the person achieves their goal, they help people, and they also improve their life in the process. So to me, success is achieving a goal and helping people whilst achieving that goal and improving your life as a result of achieving the goal. So just imagine every single person who wants to start a business, who really wants it to work, actually succeeds. Every entrepreneur who wants to succeed does. Every entrepreneur who wants to, just imagine that. Imagine how much of a better place the world would be. Like, entrepreneurs are problem solvers. Every single problem that's ever been solved by humanity has usually been solved by an entrepreneur who's taken risk to solve a problem with their own personal incentive. I love capitalism. And like, just imagine that. A world where everyone who wants to succeed does. Like, every entrepreneur. You might be thinking, that's not possible. But damn right it is. You know, and how is it possible? Like, how do you achieve this? Well, any great company that's ever done anything great has a vision. And the vision is the future state that they wish to achieve, the effect. And then what they have is they have the cause of the effect, which is the mission statement. The mission is an actionable, verb-based statement that you can actually work on doing to make it happen. So the vision is the effect, which is what you want. And the mission is the cause, or what you're actually going to do about it. And the mission that we have is to revolutionize business education. Because what I've concluded is that if someone really wants it, and I've concluded this through my own experiences, but also having helped thousands of entrepreneurs with their businesses at this point, if someone really wants to be successful, the only thing that's going to stop them from being that is having access to the right information. And so what I want to do is revolutionize business education. And once again, I've defined these key terms. Because education, how do you define this? Well, education is basically, in my eyes, at first principle, a transfer of information. It's where one person who knows something that someone else doesn't tells that person that thing, they then apply it, and as a result, their life is better. That's education. Education is the transfer of information at first principle. And how do you revolutionize business education? Well, first of all, you have to decentralize it. It's all about distribution. And the way it really works is, you download the information. Like, someone telling you a piece of information is like, it's like going to a computer and downloading something and then uploading it back into your brain and then applying it. So really, for education to work, it has to be decentralized. The information has to be distributed. Otherwise, it's just in a silo, like a book publishing, for example, or a YouTube video. And then it has to be downloaded and uploaded into someone's mind, applied, and then time has to elapse, and then success happens. So how do we achieve success as an entrepreneur? Well, really, first of all, you just have to want it, because if you don't want it, you're not going to get it. But the second thing, if you really want it, then you seek information, you get that into your brain, you apply it, you wait for time to elapse, and then you become successful. That's the first principle of entrepreneurial success. It's character, knowledge, and time. Character is, do you really want it? Knowledge is, do you have the right education and the right information? And the third thing is time, which is the elapsement of, cause and effect relationships. And if you have those three things, you'll be successful. I can't give people character and I can't give them time, but what I can do is give them the thing that bridges the gap between those two things. And that's education. And so the problem that I see in the world right now is that, the reason that this isn't true, and the reason that every entrepreneur who wants to succeed doesn't, is because they simply do not have the right education. It's as simple as that. First of all, a lot of them just don't want it, but we can't help those people. I can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped, right? I can take a horse to water, but I can't make it drink. But for anyone that wants to succeed and truly, truly wants that, if I give them the right information, they are going to succeed. If they apply it and they do it and they properly do it, they'll succeed. And I know this to be true, but it's exactly how I became successful. I wanted it so badly, and a mentor came along and was like, here you go, here's the information. And the injustice that I see in the market right now is that most business education is crap. We go to university and it's just rubbish. Most of the textbooks, rubbish. Most of the YouTube videos, rubbish. Most of the, it's all not very good. Right, I'm getting a rant on. What does revolutionize mean? Well, radically and fundamentally change for the better and significantly raise the bar. So really what we're doing through education, and the way that I want to revolutionize the education system for business specifically, is by raising the bar. And what that means is making the information and the way that that information is distributed and explained so good and so amazing that for anyone to compete, they have to be better than us. And that's how markets improve, is companies come in and they just raise the bar. So if you want to beat Apple, you've got to make something better than the iPhone. That's a damn difficult thing to do, but I wouldn't be surprised in our lifetime if someone manages to do that. And this is how companies improve the lives of people, is they raise the bar. Now, what's business? Well, this is obviously, what does business mean? Well, business is a vehicle for entrepreneurship. So, if the entrepreneur is the driver, then business is the car. And if you have a car but no driver, there's no point. If you have a driver but no car, there's no point. And this is commercial activity, basically. So this is basically what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And you might be asking, well, how are you going to do this? And the answer, to be quite frank with you, I'm not entirely sure yet. But the whole point is I have this ridiculous, narcissistic, call it grandiose conviction that I can actually do this. And that's a pretty damn powerful thing. Because now my life isn't about making me money. It's not about making me successful and helping me buy a Lamborghini and, giving me a better brand on my t-shirt. It's about the vision. It's about helping humanity. And all of the visionaries throughout history have in some way, shape or form reduced human suffering for the better. And that's what I want to do. And I now feel fulfilled and I have genuine, true meaning in my life. And I'm beyond making money. Don't get me wrong, I love a bit of money and I love making money, but money is now a means to an end for me. Money is now a vehicle for me to facilitate this vision and to invest in things that allow me to realize this. And my goal used to be billionaire, but I realized that anyone who actually became a billionaire, they didn't go after billionaire. They went after a big ass problem, and by solving that problem, they naturally became one. So I have no doubt in my mind that if I actually do this, I'll be a billionaire, I'll probably be a multi-billionaire. But I don't care anymore about that. Well, what am I going to do on a yacht, with a bunch of Moldovan models? Like, yeah, that sounds fun for about 48 hours. And then you realize that you haven't done anything important and you're just miserable. So that's the vision. And then what I've defined is the key principles or values that I hold near and dear to my heart. So the other common denominator of any great company or great person ever is they are what you would call principled. And principled basically means that you abide by specific rules in your life. So a primary example of principles in outside of business would be the 10 Commandments from Christianity, where, I'm pretty sure Islam has a similar thing, lots of religions do, where you have rules that you abide by, unbreakable, unshakable, non-negotiable values that you will always stick to. And the thing is, in chasing your vision, it's important that you don't lose track of what you value. Because a lot of companies, the way they go to die is they end up just focusing on their fiduciary duty, and it no longer becomes about the vision, and the founder starts compromising his principles. And this happens all throughout history. Any empire that falls, any company that fails, is usually because they stop abiding by the principles. So these are my principles. This is what I'm going to hold true. And every single decision that I now make in my life is filtered through two questions. A, does it help every entrepreneur who wants to succeed? Does it actually contribute to this vision? And B, does it apply by the principles? So the way that I'm going to envision this and actually solve it and have it happen and achieve this mission is through these principles. So the first one is product first, which basically means just build insane products that delight clients. Like the way that we're going to education is a product. And if you can put that first every time, and you put the product first and you make the best possible distribution of information system possible, then you're probably going to educate people properly. Client worship. So putting the client first and obsessing over results. I'm just talking about the entrepreneur here, right? So the person who's taking the risk to solve the problem with their own incentive, putting them first and completely and obsessively, completely obsessing over their results. High standards. So great isn't good enough. Like constantly raising the bar, constantly reinventing yourself, and consistent. Like if I'm hiring someone and they're like kind of mediocre, I'm like, that's not good enough. Long-term thinking, sacrificing today for a better tomorrow, giving up your time in the present for a better state of the future. And that's really what a vision is. Moving fast. So putting cause to effect with speed. So, becoming successful is basically just cause and effect. It's about doing things that you want them to do. And the faster at which you do that, then the faster at which you're going to visualize the vision. Laser focus, keep the main thing. So all I want to focus on is this vision, nothing else. I don't care about anything else. Bali and Thailand and cocktails and parties, I don't care. It's not the vision, it doesn't contribute to the vision. Yeah, I'm still going to have somewhat of a life, but I'm just obsessed. Simplicity, seek straightforwardness. So no complexity, keep it simple, keep it straightforward. All or nothing, go all in or go home. If I'm hiring people to help me with this vision, I'm not interested in working with people that aren't going all in. They want a little side hustle, they can, as far as I'm concerned, they can leave. It's radical transparency, always be honest and speak the truth. And absolute ruthlessness, which is just stop at nothing to win. And I'm defining win as achieving this vision. And so on my way to this vision and on my way to this future state, I will be holding these principles near and dear to my heart. And as my audience, you're welcome to hold me accountable to these. I have my team holding me accountable to them, all my friends, my family, etc. But this is it. I finally have purpose in my life. Beyond Stripe screenshots and, some money here and there, I actually have true, genuine meaning. Money is now just a means to an end to achieve the vision. And this might not resonate with you, but I promise that in 5 to 10 years time, when you have achieved commercial success and you've got more money than you can ever need, this is how you kind of have to start thinking, unless you want to just have an empty life where you just make money. And that's fine. I know a lot of people that are happy just making money, but mate, you've been put on this planet by God, for crying out loud. You've got a life. You might as well do something damn cool with it. So call it grandiosity, call it narcissism, call it ego. I don't care. I'm going to do this or die trying. Ciao.